Hello students, welcome to the Income Tax Law and Practice class with me Adela Samuel, Head Department of Accounting and Finance. Today we are going to see the continuation of the previous class under the topic Business Income and Professional Income. Now we will take business income. Under business income, there are certain deductions allowed according to the Income Tax Act. So we are going to see what are the deductions that are allowed under the Income Tax Act in today's class. So deductions under section 30 to 37. The following deductions are going to be allowed under the profits and loss account under the head business or professional income. Number one is the rent, rates, taxes, repairs and insurance premium which is paid for the business premises. If you pay any kind of these things, expenses for your business premises, then it is deductible. It is an allowed deduction. Repairs and insurance of machinery, plant and furniture used for the purpose of business or profession can also be considered as an allowable deduction. Then you have depreciation on buildings, machinery, plant, furniture, intangible assets owned by an assessee and used by him in his business or profession. Then again, depreciation on these assets can also be given as a allowable deduction. The fourth one is expenditure on scientific research. This is one of the important deductions that is given, and under this you have to understand a lot of varieties that we are going to see. So first we'll see what is the scientific research. The term scientific research means any activity for the extension of knowledge in the field of natural or applied sciences including agriculture, animal husbandry or fishery is considered as a scientific research. So any kind of a research that you're going to do, any research work that for the extension of knowledge that a company is taking up in any natural science or applied science or agriculture or even animal husbandry and fishery, this can also be considered as a scientific research. So any amount that is used for this purpose can be considered for deduction under section 35. Now under this scientific research, we have varieties of expenditure that can take place. So what are the varieties that are there and how much is going to be deducted or allowed as deduction, we are going to see. Now first one under scientific research deduction is revenue expenditure. Any revenue expenditure on the own business, if it is a scientific research, if they are conducting any scientific research and any revenue expenditure is incurred, then in that case it is going to be allowed fully, and whatever amount they are spending can be allowed fully. Okay, so that you need to remember. Second one, capital expenditure. Again, any capital expenditure if you're going to incur on scientific research, again it's going to be allowed fully. That's what you need to remember. Then contribution to research association to scientific research. Suppose you're going to contribute some money to any research associations, then in that case whatever amount you're contributing, 150% of that can be allowed as deduction. So if you're going to contribute 10,000 rupees for an association which is conducting research, then scientific research, in that case 150% of that 10,000 can be allowed as deduction. Then the fourth one is contribution made to national laboratory, university or IT. Again, for scientific research purpose, if you're going to make any contribution to these institutions, then again 150% of the amount that you're going to contribute can be allowed as deduction. Then you have contribution for social sciences, statistical research. If you are going to contribute for any association which is going to conduct social science research or statistical research, then 100% of your amount will be deducted. Sixth one is contribution to scientific research company. Again, any amount you're going to give for scientific research company which is prescribed by the IT Act, then 100% amount will be deducted. Expenditure on acquiring patent rights and copyrights. If you're going to spend some money on acquiring some patent right or copyright and it has happened before the year 1998, then that amount will be deductible in 14 equal installments beginning from the previous year in which the expenditure has been incurred. Okay, and then patent and copyrights that you've acquired, it's like an asset to you. It's an intangible asset for the company. So that is eligible for depreciation at 25%. So two things you need to remember if it is patent right and copyright. If you're spending some money that can before 1998, then it can be split into 14 equal installments and you can start paying, and that amount can be deducted in 14 equal installments as a deduction. And apart from that, if you have any patent or copyright, it's like a intangible asset which can gain depreciation of 25%. Then expenditure on know-how. Know-how again refers to industrial information or technological information that you possess, some kind of a knowledge that you possess, which suppose if this know-how has been acquired before, after the date will become an intangible asset. After the date in the sense again after 1/4/1998, it will become an intangible asset and it is eligible for depreciation at 25%. Then payment to Rural Development Fund. If you paid any money for Rural Development Fund or National Poverty Eradication Fund, again 100% can be given as deduction. It is allowed as a deduction. Then you have expenditure on agriculture extension projects. If you're going to spend some money on this agriculture expenditure projects, then 150% of the amount that you're going to contribute will be taken for deduction. Expenditure in skill development projects also again 150% is given as deduction. Preliminary expenses. If suppose you have any preliminary expenses that you've incurred, preliminary expenses in the sense when you're going to start off a business, before you start off the business full-fledged, you might have a certain amount of expenses. Before your company starts itself, you might have some expenses in setting up your company. So those expenses we might call it as preliminary expenses. So in that case, if you have any preliminary expenses, 1/5 of the qualifying amount of such kind of a preliminary expenses is allowed as deduction in each of the 5 successive years beginning in the year in which the business started. So for example, in the year 2020 you're starting off a business, 5 years you can go in for giving that preliminary expenses deduction. Every 5 successive years, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 5 years, you can split the preliminary expenses, whatever is eligible for deduction. You can split it into 5 divided by 5, and for every 5 years you can deduct one part. So such kind of a deduction is allowed under preliminary expenses. So these are the expenses that can be allowed under the head deductions. Now, deductions allowed under section 36. The following deductions are going to be allowed under section 36 of the IT Act. So this is the list that you can remember. Insurance premium paid under health insurance, bonus or commission, interest paid on borrowed capital, contribution to provident and superannuation fund, contribution towards employee pension scheme, contribution to gratuity fund, loss of animals used for business, tax or duty paid under any law, bad debts, expenditure on family planning. These are certain expenses or certain amounts that you would have spent as business expenses, which is allowed as deduction under section 36. Then you have deduction under section 37. So two major expenses are here. Entertainment expenses. From the year 98 to 99 and the subsequent years, entertainment expenses, whether for the employees of the business or customers for the business, is fully allowed as deduction. So whatever you're spending as entertainment allowances for your employees and for your customers, it can be given as full deduction. Advertisement expenses. All the expenses incurred on advertisements are allowed as deduction. Any expense incurred on advertisement in any souvenir, brochure, tract, pamphlet or the like published by a political party is not allowed as deduction. So if you have any advertising expenses for your business, it is allowed as deduction. But if you are going to advertise in any kind of a political party advertisements, then that will not be allowed as a deduction. Expense incurred on installation of a neon or other signboards are to be taken as advertisement expenses. So you must have seen neon signboards or a signboard billboards you might have seen. Any installation charges can be considered as an expense. So the cost of the signboard shall qualify for depreciation at 10%. If it is a neon signboard, then it qualifies for 15%. Normal ordinary signboard means 10% depreciation. It's like an asset now that has depreciation of 10%. If it is a neon signboard, then it qualifies for 15% depreciation. Expense on traveling. Another kind of an expense is the expense on traveling. Expense on traveling, whether in India or abroad, are allowed as deduction if they are incurred for the purpose of business. If you are traveling because of business, then that expense can be deducted. Then you have expense on guest house or holiday homes. All the expenses relating to maintenance of a guest house or a holiday home for the purpose of a business, then that can also be deducted in full. So these are the deductions under section 37. Expenses expressly disallowed under section 40 and 40A. Some expenses are allowed to be deducted under section 40 and 40A. Interest payable outside India, any tax levied on the profits or gains of business or profession, wealth tax levied under Wealth Tax Act 1957 or any tax of similar nature, payments made to persons or relatives more than the reasonable amount for goods and services obtained from them, payment exceeding rupees 10,000 not made by an account payee check drawn on a bank or by a account payee bank draft is fully disallowed. And then personal expenses of the proprietor. So these kinds of an expenses which is normally not a business expense, it is expressly disallowed. It is not allowed under section 40 and 40A. It continues, the list continues. Drawings made by the proprietor, medical expenses for the proprietor, any capital expenditure, any provision or transfer to reserves other than those which are expressly allowed, past losses charged to profit and loss account, any charity or present given, donation to political parties, penalties paid by the SSC for infringement of law, insurance premium paid by the firm for the life of the partners. Next is the valuation of stock. Under the Income Tax Act, the assessee or the person who is running the business should maintain his books of accounts, and the assessee can maintain the accounts under cash-based system or mercantile basis of accounting. The assessee should, if he is choosing one kind of a system, then he has to continuously maintain the same kind of a accounting system. So two accounting systems, cash-based and mercantile-based. The inventories shall be valued at cost, or it can be valued at market price, whichever is less or whichever is lower. So some people value the stock at cost price only. So the assessee is free to adopt any method, but once he adopts one particular method, then he has to continuously adopt the same method year after year. So that is one rule under the process of valuation of stock. So the opening stock and closing stock should be valued either at the cost price or at the market price, whichever is less, or if they choose whichever method they want, that is their decision. So the business will decide how they're going in for valuing the stock. These are the things that you need to remember under the head business income. So thank you students for listening patiently to the theory part of the business income. So these are the rules you need to remember before we go into the sums. Before we work out the sums, please go through all these topics, all these points that you need to know under the head business income or profession income. Thank you. Thank you once again for listening patiently.